not actually recorded, and that's, oh, actually it is because of YouTube. That's great. Okay. So this is the new model. You don't link to YouTube, you just link to Periscope and Twitch. Grow your following on Periscope and Twitch. Have YouTube be your backup video recorder server to post a live stream to directly, because Twitch past broadcasts don't want to overload the servers. That's just smart behavior right there. So today we get to stay within the confines of the house because Wi-Fi and no cell data, because currently poor. So if you do want to see more IRL type content, just walking around with a selfie stick in cities, doing whatever ends up, whatever God says, there you go. That is what it is. So walking around the city, just doing what I do best. I mean, I was going to tell you to donate, but I can't really do that. That's kind of unethical. That's not politically correct, so I didn't do it. So we essentiellement, ouais, aussi, we can do it in French and English, bilingual stream, lose half your viewers instantly. That's pretty much what it is nowadays. You're shooting yourself. It was pretty fast, actually. So what I'm actually on the lookout for is an application that'll allow me to create one piece of content or have one stream of data and then convert it into various packages that are compatible with other APIs. For example, I want to be able to record myself and my audio through camera and microphone, and I want to create my own configurations to post to Instagram, for example, to schedule a creation at various time frames depending on, I don't know. And I also want to broadcast a continuous stream to various endpoints, or to one endpoint, which would then be converted to various endpoints. So there's already a lot of services in place. Currently, I'm using restream.io, which allows you to stream to one RTMP address on the web, one server, and then it splits it, transcodes if it needs to, possibly. So you can buy transcoding, apparently, little plug right here, and streams to whatever platform you tell it to. So right now, that's how we're doing the 3-platform thing, which is pretty good. Actually very good. Actually extremely good. For a free service, I've never seen such functionality. For something free, you know, little application tools of the internet, I've never seen something like that. I was looking for something like that. So here's what's very important right now, currently. There's multiple platforms, okay, social presence platforms, I like to call them. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, what is it? Snapchat, Pinterest, fucking Tumblr, Flickr, SoundCloud, all the other ones I missed. There's a lot. All right, Google Plus. All right, so, okay, wait, what? So Google is losing a little bit of its footing. You can tell that by how Google Plus has been doing. I try to be extremely concise with my speech, even though I might accelerate it. I'll actually articulate it as best as I can, because sometimes I botch my articulation and it's not really that consumer friendly, I would say, the speech string. So here's what's important. Multiplexing and merging of input and output data. So for example, this Android phone is relatively limited in that it can't film for more than one application. I would have to create a video stream and then post it individually. Correct. So what I want is an application that takes that stream and automatically does those things. So it takes the stream, okay, saves it locally, so it writes dynamically to a location, right? That's really hard to do on Android for some fucking reason, okay? For some mighty reason, it is really hard to write directly and not create a file. So what you want is to write to a memory location that is accessible by other streams. So what you're doing is, okay, here's how it works. You write it to a memory location. Then you segment, or you create a thread that will go look at a specific starting point in the location and advance dynamically. Whew. So you're writing it in location. Let's say you're doing it concurrently. So you're writing a stream, all right? Now your application needs access to that file location to create various occurrences of progression. So for example, I have my own stream, which I record every day, which goes on for 24 hours. I want to be able to write this until my memory is out. Okay, ideally I can write to an external drive. Ideally, I can plug in an external drive and write it. Android is kind of limited in that it can't do that right now, currently. So let's put a timer on this and actually estimate or calculate how long it will take for Android to implement what we're actually describing here. So it's very simple. It's very simple. It's already developed. It's already communicated. It's super clear. I write to a memory location which is accessible from the same application or even other applications. So I'm creating an API. I'm augmenting the file API and the camera API of Android. And not just the camera API, just the file API in general. All right? So I want to be able to write directly in memory and to create RAM allocations which access a stream of data or a file that is already written to create views or other files, so to create other output streams which are then added to the file list. So look, there's one address. I'm either writing a stream to it, a continuous video, or a continuous audio, or a continuous both, okay? A continuous stream, or I'm writing a video to it. All right, so I have a contained or an ongoing file. Whether it's contained or ongoing, I can tune in at a certain point, at a duration mark, let's say. At 7 minutes, I tune in, and for 30 seconds, I create an Instagram clip. Now this Instagram clip, I want to post automatically with a predefined filter, which I've selected, which is available through the application. Let's say every time I say something, every time I go post last 30 seconds to Instagram, speech recognition, you can actually tell this is not going to be a recent or in the near future. That it will come, although it's not going to be Android that's going to specifically, oh, that's why, okay, because the file API is independent of the application's behavior. So the application can read the file, interpret it, raise the flags if the person has used the flags, and then modify its behavior accordingly. So that is not Android or Google's own task. That's why we made a mistake here. Very important here, very important. We have a stream, we have various views, we have an application which can command the various in-memory locations. All right, here's something. If the segment, that's it. So I'm either redirecting the Octa stream, copying it to a RAM location so that it's accessible for my application, or I'm rewriting it to another file location. And then from the file location, I can easily access it and modify it. Okay? Are we good? Are we live? So what I want is, honestly, to be able to use an external body camera with an OTG function that I can just plug in, and I want to be able to plug in an external hard drive, or have a phone with modular hard drive, not a limit. For example, even 128 gigs, even 256 gigs might not be enough. So I really want that terabyte. I want the actual 2 terabyte, or that 1 terabyte. Just walking around with a terabyte of space. Terabyte of universe, dude. Dog, we're hella lit, dog. All right, so we've successfully developed an Android application of input and output. No, we've not. All right, so there's actual code going into this. Actually, let's go and check out whether or not we have access. There are certain Java books which are important for Android development. All right, now, the easy way to do this is the key. The easy way to do this is to directly upload to a live server the streams that you want to be modulated without actually having to use the file APIs. Now, this is a little costly here. In many regional jurisdictions, you would have a little bit of trouble. Oh, man. Oh, that's hard. All right, cool. Depending on where you are, it'll be, all right, let's do it another time. Anyways, not my job, apparently not. Maybe later. All right, cool. Well, if needed, I'll actually sit down, learn file APIs, and find a way to do it, because I'm pretty sure you can tweak that stuff. Pretty sure it's actually accessible currently. You should be able to write directly to memory and access what you're writing. Or write two files concurrently, and then when one is done, right, correct. So I'm writing two files at once. That's what I'm actually doing. Essentially, I'm continuously writing two files at once, right here. Always writing two. One in RAM memory, for example. No, just writing two files. Two files in file memory, just normal memory, a hard drive memory, or SD card memory. And then when I need to access the data, instead of stopping the video stream, I stop one of them. I just stop one of them from being written to the file API, and I create another one. So I segment it. As I want to use it, I segment the second one, and I start it again. I reboot it. And I can synchronize it, you know, with various parameters or local variables, which I can save and whatever. So the second file gets stopped and restarted, and the segment that I've created gets used for the creation of content and is saved locally until the end of the stream, where it clarifies that it doesn't actually need that segment anymore. It has created all the output packages to be shared from the productions. Couple 360s. Just a few. Yeah, no, I'm theoretically just walking around my basement the whole time and you can't even notice. You just see a guy walking. Yo, sorry, don't laugh, for real. That's all it is, dude. That's what it's gotta be, dog. That's terrible. So how is that terrible? All right, cool. Here's the recipe. I'm gonna give you the cookbook on this one. All right? A backend developer which can successfully authenticate a user against various APIs. So the user logs in first. How? They authenticate using various OAuth 2 protocols that can be generated from federated tokens. For example, Google, Facebook, your own email if you want. So use my personal advice, this is just lazy programmers behavior, is to use Firebase authentication, although you can easily design a very similar interface. So the important ones are Twitter. Okay, here it is. You target the social platforms that you want to integrate or overcome, and then you allow them being the useful mechanisms for the user's various activities or required actions. So here you go with first authentication, right? You select all the platforms that you want to be able to work with and your backend API, or just normal email address, or not even, you wouldn't even have to sign in. Why would you have to sign in to it if it's an application, for example? You're already signed in, they get your Google Play or App Store email address, technically. So you develop for one, and the other one just follows suit because of competition. That's what competition is, actually. It's a tool for us to develop things globally. So hey, you're not doing it? Well, fuck. You just lost a huge market share. You better do it fast or else you're going to keep bleeding. It's pressure. Competition is pressure for you to get your ass up. Okay, authenticate against the application somehow or not. Then authenticate against the APIs that you want to use, for example, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat if it has an API. Let's say PayPal. PayPal, super easy. PayPal is very good because, I mean, you could do anything. Dude, the possibilities are actually endless. So I could go link, Shopify product, SKU, evaluate, example t-shirt 1, 2, 3, medium red. And that speech would recognize it linked to a Shopify store, ping the API, get the product, contain it. That's the important part. I've configured a way to present every data that I input as output. So I am creating a virtual universe which people have access to. All right? So here's what I'm doing. I'm creating a way for my products to be displayed when I bring them up, for example, through speech, or when I click on them from a little menu on the application while I'm producing whatever it is. So I can decide when it is. So I can go in 10 minutes. Okay, last command, delay 10 minutes. That type of stuff. And then in 10 minutes, you would see, boom, the example t-shirt. So instead of doing that, let's actually do a real product. All right, cool. The example t-shirt here is a SKU that I use for a t-shirt that I've developed in the past. It has this design and it comes from this vendor here that you can see at the moment, for example. Okay, get shirt vendor, or get shirt info display. No, it's already displayed. That's how the package works. You've configured it like that. All right, so here's what I want to do. I want to log into the application and just talk to it. Okay, or have some type of hardware configuration that I can use to input data, you know? So do sort of weird click behavior with my own hands. So my own triggers with a glove, for example. You saw that glove that does music? That type of shit. It's actually dank. It's the same one, except there's a little variation so that you don't notice that it's the same one. Just talking about my walking behavior. I am initializing the application, correct. I am authenticating, no way. I'm just selecting the APIs I want to work with. I selected Shopify, PayPal, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Musical.ly, Twitch, Periscope, YouTube, Google+, Discord, Anchor, Reddit, Vocally, or Voku. The Vocally API is a speech recognition API which is also integrated with file manipulation algorithms. It is able to compute alterations or commands against data and return the resulting mutations. Oh, I'm not whoa, that makes way more sense. Holy shit. All right, cool. This is one thing that people don't actually do. What? Your algorithm made? Oh, the algorithm. Okay, there's an algorithm for Vocally. All right, so imagine, all right, this is just open your eyes, okay? All right, thanks for tuning in. Open an application. Now, open a mirror somewhere else on a node on the internet, all right? These are linked intrinsically. So as you open the application and it connects to the application, the server, there's a link drawn between the two, okay? The server has a database with connected nodes or sub-trees, nodes in the tree. You're actually technically being redirected to a node and then you're part of a node which has multiple clients or not. Or you have a node with a bigger node, and then that bigger node holds all the data for the subnode. So it's sort of like an Ethereum modulation sort of path drawing of tree behavior. So you have a hierarchy, for example, or a defined contained behavior. Okay, so you have nodes. So now, within your node, you'd be given on a local cache the algorithms which allow you to process your files locally when you command them vocally. You could also offload part of your files directly to the server for them to apply the mechanisms or algorithms and result the variations. So for example, I am segmenting something. I'm going, bop, do this, bop. It takes that, applies it against the file, the segment. So if I go, bop, do this within last 30 seconds, bop. It takes the last 30 seconds of what I recorded locally or what I'm uploading on the file, so the current open file. Or I can go, bop, go to file, bop, and then switch this file mentally or dynamically on another plane that I have access to that file. Bop, in file, example, t-shirt, bop, bop, undo last bop, bop. That's how you'd actually train. That's how you'd practice. It's with the bop statement. That's what I've been trying to teach people. You can practice with the bop statement. So you're programming, you're essentially coding. It has to be as concise as you can. The more concise, the more repetitive you can do it, the more times you can set it up perfectly, the better you are at producing content. Or whatever it is, dude. Whatever it actually ends up being. All right, you wanna visit the other places of the home? Actually, let's go drink a coffee. Let's go chill. Let's go take a chill pill. Yeah, no. Hopefully nobody in the house, because you guys crazy. Laying down. Raindrops. Oh, we're done. There's no more non-biodegradable cups. And you gotta hustle for the caffeine. Hustling for the caffeine. Quote unquote. Hey, that's soberly. Alright, let's go over vocally a little bit. So vocally needs a location to apply the command to and a command to apply to the location it's applying the command to. It just needs a location. You can actually execute it locally. That's what's been told. Or against another API. There you go. That's exactly it. So what I'm doing is I'm uploading my stuff to, for example, Facebook or Twitter or YouTube. Vocally has access to the YouTube video. It can actually grab the feed, synchronize when you made the command, if the audio feeds are similar. If compatible, grab it, synchronize it, create, return. Boom, it would go boom, from here to here, that's where it is. It doesn't even have to download or upload it. Okay? It can actually, for you, create a segment and upload it directly. So that's the thing. The segment is never actually uploaded because it is a place on the internet that it records. It records a place on the internet. So a YouTube video or a live YouTube feed at that specific moment for this duration plus this one. It records an enclosed timeline. Okay, view it as a timeline of events. Okay, that's exactly it. Vocally. So it's all, oh, that's why, not, Voku. So for portability reasons, because not everybody has a voice, for real. So voice commanded is pretty cool. Okay, 2 seconds. This is actually super hard to do. Oh, that's what it is. Nah, that can't be. That would have been cool. Sec. Simply made. All right. A location on the internet to compute data against, and a command to execute. A return format, part of the command to execute. So for example here, I am opening this application that we've discussed about on an Android device. I have an audio stream, I have a video stream, and I also have a screen stream, that type of shit. So when I open an application, this application gets notified. So the notification occurs by the display qualifications. For example, I want to, every time I open Facebook, it saves the address or tries to find the address or something like that. It just saves a feed of my timeline so that people can view what I viewed. My screen, my actual screen. Segment it as using Facebook though, so it can find the actual Facebook posts dynamically. The algorithm is saved locally. Everything is saved locally. Hey, what's up? Say hi to the does. Not interested. Hey, it's less cold now. You can maybe go outside. Have a look. Alright, let's try to do it in its whole. We're talking about one application here, Voku, or whatever the name ends up being. It is highly dynamic. It is an input-output configuration machine. It has servers, it has nodes, it has peer-to-peer interactivity, activity. It is a suite of algorithms and functions which can be shared from peer to peer through nodes communicating together. It is extensible, therefore people can write their own functions and algorithms and apply them to the servers which distribute them to the nodes, or apply them against peers to other peers which then get their way to nodes and other nodes. The initial suit is the following. Stream, production, packaging, and sharing. Account, scheduling, financing, and communicating. Collection, flowing, saving, and porting. All right, I have this super cleanly set up for whoever it is that ends up trying to team up. Hey, it's Drake. Oh, what's up? 2 seconds. What if it's actually upside down? Oh man, that would be rough. Nah, that's it. All right, let's break down each of the three main characteristics, which each have three aspects. Start with the funnest one. Creation. What's very important? Production, packaging, and sharing. So our job, supplying algorithms allowing those three aspects to be valuably potent. Ce sera pas long, relax, 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 relax. Oh. All right. Let's All right. Ignore the name for now. Just focus on the functionality. Develop functionality, get rewarded for it from the financial sector of the accounting path. All right. This is stuff that I've actually experienced being hard on modern devices. The creation part. It's very modular. This would be essentially possible on a desktop version. Now, the most widely available, this is the key. All of the cash flow is generated from the fact that there are not intrinsically very portable devices. They're not compatible with anything. They're only compatible with themselves. They only define their own standards. Now, finding optimizations within those standards is what allows you to create unique products, which allow people to then create what it is that they want. So you're creating a tool for people to create tools recursively. That is very important. So hiring a developer does not work because the task is too large and he would just do it himself because his part of the development is so important. It would be valuable enough for it to be its standalone product. All right, here's what I ideally advise. Design profiles. Have ideas about what is a likely scenario. For example, someone has an Android device, I'm going to give a brief example, pulled out of straight the actual planes. Content producer / internet marketer. All right, that person knows who it is. That person authenticating against this application, for example, first step, open, load. All right, I need to load that person in. Depending on the device this person is using, here, recycle pieces of data defining profiles, which are actually sets. I have a set, person, internet marketer, content producer. I have a device for that person. I have activities, I have a device, I have peripherals. So in this case, Android, mic splitter, mic, headphones. In this case, I even have both. So develop your own hardware-related, compatible software, standalone operating system, application backwards with JS and all other frameworks of applications which would be essentially good to have a marketplace which hosts apps on C++, Java, read. So I'm dressing up profiles, which in turn generates a client or a local, what would you call it? An application, a window. What's our term for that? A window, an interface. No, a face. It designs a face. The face of the application. The face, the head. It designs a head, correct? The face. The phase. A phase, it's in a phase. The phase shifts based on its configuration. The phase is its configuration. The phase can change by changing itself, by shifting. I'm listening always. That's why I don't always actually verbally assess what it is. If I was actually higher, you'd just hear me rant and rant and rant and rant and rant for hours on it. It would actually make a lot more sense than, I mean, I guess in most cases you'd understand me stopping and sort of analyzing the whole. Assembling a phase locally is the job of the initiator. The initiator being an application on a device that I launch, or a block of code which is in charge of building the phase. What if we don't actually put a textual name on it and just overtone the Z and C? There's a slight delay, I'd say a 7-second delay maybe. Well, you could totally chat. I'm pretty sure I can actually read it somehow. Rather not know that consciously for some reason. All right, porting. Porting is sort of, okay, so collection is the piece, the aspect of the phase. We have a phase which has 3 subjects with each 3 aspects. That's the textual way to look at it. That's the logical way to break it down. It's not really separated, the interface. You'd have toolbars, you'd have views split on your screen, so you can create little jets of data to be displayed, little locations, multiply them, divide them equally in 2 dimensions, if you're actually about viewing stuff in 2 dimensions. Adding up. Communicating is super easy. Okay, so here's what it is. All right. A suite of Apache servers which balance the initial demands. Yo, I'm yelling. I'm straight yelling. I have various web addresses or subdomains, you know, subdomains like apps.google.com. That's a subdomain. This subdomain is responsible in aligning me with a node. So I'm pinging NA or NA1 or NA8 dot whatever. That's directing me to a node of people or connected peers. Which is responsible for routing data. It is compatible. All right, here's what it is. The node can actually be a user in this case. So you would have super users, which are really, really powerful clusters of computers. But everyone in the network is a node. The basic node functions: forwarding a stream, is that just it? Just forwarding a stream. Oh, the stream forwarding algorithm from peer to peer. All right, so here's what it is. Here's what we're developing today. All right, I've decided. We're developing an algorithm which makes efficient the peer-to-peer data transfer through metadata queues. Example. Green apple. All right. Someone wants a green apple. I have a green apple here. What is the fastest way they can get to me through their connectedness? So first, I would ping the node that I'm connected to, the largest node that I'd be connected to, which has a database of people connected to it. Now, if I'm here, part of those people, the transaction is easy. If not, maybe someone else has a green apple. So my demand shapes the query. I send it logically with a programmed response behavior which allows me to that's what it is. All right. So I'm passing the algorithm of the request as the request. Green apple closest. Step 1. Queue first layer, return if person with green apple within 10 kilometers. If not, select nodes with highest concentration. Select nodes with high concentration. Select primary nodes with secondary nodes with high concentration. So start off with nodes with high concentration. and say local nodes. More local, say Bluetooth nodes and a Wi-Fi node or a cellular node. Then if not within 10 kilometers, then a sort from ascending order of distance. If not, select it one by one to make the data transfer efficient, because we have a lot of these transactions happening. Okay. You want green apple, ping the highest node. If it doesn't find it within 10 kilometers. Let it evaluate candidates. That's the thing. It can't just ping everyone for a green apple. So here's what we do. We define green apple. Maybe every item, every thought essentially would have its own code. Coffee. So I'm essentially sending 1 byte in my packet, 1 byte. Green apple. The code for green apple is what I'm sending. That is so minimal. So green apple is super small of a packet. It's a tiny packet, relatively. It is so small of a packet. Okay, now wait. That's it. You ping your node, green apple. It has a high concentration. The job of the node, or the job of the algorithm, is determining what is the best way to separate the query in order to receive the most efficient list of results or targeted result for the querier. So do I have a high concentration of green apples locally? Yes. Who am I asking? Myself. I'm asking myself. I'm asking whoever we're asking ourselves. All right, say I'm connected with people. I go, hey, do you think there are many green apples around us? They'd probably go, oh, yes. Maybe they wouldn't be connected with the network, but you can try locally. Maybe you will get lucky. That type of shit. You can tell it's alive. So logically, yes. In the scenario where this is a global pioneered technology which just destroys Google and Alexa because it's just so far superior. The snapshot. So yes, but no. Depending on location, I attribute a node. We have multiple nodes, which can also have subnodes, which act as processors. in this architecture. Yeah, we're a little higher than the application development that we're used to doing, except we're still developing an application. A little higher. We'll just elevate it a little bit. We're currently looking for, oh, actually, we're looking for someone looking for a green apple. Oh, that's so simple. Holy shit. All right. I'm going to keep my inventory of shit. Dude, I have an inventory of shit. No one has to ask anyone for a fucking green apple because I have the green fucking apple. You don't have to ask everyone. I have it. Ask someone who has access to the green apple registry, which is connected with local people, and you cut it by like 99%. So I have my inventory of shit, correct? I have shareable stuff. I have saved shit in my collection, or I have produced an inventory file object. I've packaged it as shareable, and I can literally fucking share it. The fucking green apple. It's in my profile. I've posted it. It can enter your collection so you can save it through your ports. So when you flow, you would D. Because it has video, correct? So it's possible. All right. Who am I telling I have the green apple to? Whoever the algorithm tells me to. All right, every node has access to locally saved datas. All right, locally saved datums. So depending on concentration, so let's say I have a code for apple, which is a main classification of this, or a code for food, a code for apple, or food, fruit, apple, green. Food, fruit, apple, green. Now depending on my concentration of food, fruit, apple, and green apple, I would send it or not to a higher dimension. So every node keeps a relative record of densities relating various dimensions. I'm keeping everything relating food, for example. Oh, I look way prettier in the future. What the fuck? Nah, dude. Fucking zoom out like don't third eye to go. Sad life. Oh, up. You would send it up. Gotcha. Green apple has an image or a relative image. Say every item has two requirements. A specific description, which is minimal, and a specific description which is minimal. All right, so if you really want me to push that shit, I'm going to be creating images from text. All right? Food. Okay, so you have your first category, your highest level category, or your lowest one, depending on your angle, which would be a shape. Square, circle, triangle, hexagon, pentagon. Food, nutrition, consumption, you know? People, content, materials, digital, personal, physical, digital, personal. Four, five, six. What about nothing? Anyways, shape, color, shape, color, all sorts of artistic configurations. So to describe the green apple, I would go, for example, square, dotted square with the shape of an apple and green. And that would be the icon, the programmatically generated icon. So all I would need is a value for the color, the dotted, the square, and the apple. The one costing the most being whatever. Create custom icons. Whoa, I can actually do that? All right, creating an algorithm which isolates items in PNG or JPEG format to create SVG files. Okay, say you have a transparent or a white background on an image which has a sort of icon. It's a PNG, right? Which every single pixel has a byte value. That's a lot of memory, all right? Even if it's white or it's transparent. It's blank, 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 blank. Oh, green, 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 blank, blank, blank. All right, that's it. That's a PNG or a JPEG. Now, you would take everything and just draw the outlines with SVG and fill it inside with color. Boom. An automatic icon creator, dude. We're creating SVGs out the ass. All right. So let's say we have an economy based around providing icons for specific items. So you're creating an item. You're attributing an icon in a very specific. Now, that also has to be reviewed by peers. So you're creating it locally, sending it to your peers. Your peers establish a review, and then there's a compilation communally of whether or not it is acceptable. For it to move at the higher level, boom, boom. And then the higher level, with its own algorithms, goes ahead and calculates it communally also, and then boom, higher level or not, boom. So our job is describing algorithms at the various levels which data passes through in order to be distributed equally when on demand. Nah, man. I actually hear it. Oh, little microphone alterations. Oh. What if my mic actually kept cutting out a lot? Can it just actually play it? I'm kind of paranoid now. Oh, in the future we have speech recognition. It doesn't matter, you're good. So, I have an item. This is it, I have an item. I can search for an icon. The icon has to be in SVG format because it's very portable. I'm creating a categorization for this item. I'm passing it to my peers and the highest concentration peer I have access to or that I've been connected with. That peer decides if it officializes it based on the peer behavior. So that node offers a phase of flowing. Oh, you're in a phase where you're collecting data about items which can be officially categorized. So when I'm flowing, I'm really viewing, I'm flowing with saved items. I'm flowing with saved items
that I've ported. So I've ported with this phase has allowed me to port, save, and flow with items. This phase includes saved algorithms which allow me to vote absolutely or not, depending on what it is, the system, the structural model used. Very nice watermark, super small. The phase supplied the ported data, which you get saved in a format allowing flowing. That's collecting. Now the accounting section allows algorithmic attribution of value based on actions incurred. So that's my current view on it. We have a community which takes decisions and sets how the algorithms are to grow and be used for the beginning stages until it is autonomous. So it is essentially a socket that people set at various levels so it grows organically. That makes way more sense. All right, I'm creating a base. You connect with the base, you inject it your consciousness. Everyone does so, they inject their consciousness, and it grows. The base, the consciousness, the result. The base, the consciousness, the result. The base, the consciousness, the result. That's it. It can be simulated, so you don't actually need to apply your consciousness to it in this actual digital form, although on a mental plane, that might be what you end up doing with Tesla crying in the darkness. We're not done yet, dude. Thinking about running yet? I'm about to take me another cup of coffee, dog. Oh, how about tea? Ooh. Ooh. Not really worth it. Alright. Alright. Is it just a little bit too odd? Yeah, it is.
It just delayed. Alright, I was a little paranoid that audio was getting cut out, but it's not. That's all the caffeine I've been ingesting, dude. The average viewer literally looks at it with a third eye, dude. The average viewer is fucking meditating, dog. Well, the average viewer has a lot of control. Holy shit. You guys. Hey, you guys. Nah, I'm not gonna troll you guys, for real. I'm not supposed to troll you guys. I'm not supposed to make you guys laugh. I'm supposed to instill progression in you guys. I'm supposed to forge your consciousness, Mr. You guys. Mr. and Mrs. You guys. You girls, you guys and girls. You girls and men. You warm beings. You touchy behaviors. Nah, I'm not supposed to. Now what happens when I do it? Gentle tap on the back. Next life. Nah, because I'm actually programmed that. Naturally, what occurs? Oh my lord, making a face swap with that Jesus piece? That's great. A slight slip. Yet I got him back. So, depending on where you tuned in, this was mostly interesting. Let's keep going. Defining the peer-to-peer logic. Ranking a peer. Dressing a profile for a peer. Dressing profiles which can be used by peers, people, persons. Persons adopt a profile which governs what they can or should do on a programmatic basis. A peer with a larger storage space and a high availability rate will be treated as a node which is necessary or used for the storing of cacheable data or creating versions of the network, versioning the network, and connecting peers, for example. That would be a high network capacity, a high computational capacity, not necessarily high RAM, or access to other nodes through which data can be forwarded back in a closed loop to skip that whole part. Real quick. All right, don't treat it as a break, because it's not. So what do you guys want to talk about? Other than peer-to-peer algorithms. peer-to-peer, a router. I can be a router. I can be a peer router if I have high network bandwidth and computational power. Or multiple cores. If I have access to multiple cores and high network bandwidth. Running out of 2 seconds. All right, we're good. It does work. Oh shit, it actually works better, support-wise. Peer-to-peer algorithm. Pure definition, profiles. Your definition, your adopted behaviors, your configuration, your phase. So we all share the same model. In this example of the spiritual being, the core, or the, quote, soul, hi, which contains recycled pieces, modeled one after the other. What's up, dude? Your eyes. Sorry, sort of flow abstraction. You can't actually see me. Phase definition, recommendations based on available resources. Recommendation. How's the recommendation algorithm developed? Well, local analysis, queuing of hardware. Here it is. Develop profiles across all dimensions as the creating entity. So I'm developing hardware which would be suitable. That's what it is, modular hardware. That's important, because it is modular, correct? The way it is set up, at least on a digital level, is modular. So pieces of algorithmic expressions will be developed from peers or players, let's call them players. Players develop algorithms which are then widely adopted and standardized, which might change the balance of the optimal physical configuration that a circuit must have in order to compute it efficiently. I look retarded. I'm charging against streaming. Modular hardware. So that's it. That's it. The algorithms don't need to be centralized or concentrated. But they can be, because the balance of what everyone does changes. Whatever. So bueno. The profile is only valid when the phase is to be repetitive almost, or standard. So the Android device user shares a lot of the phase of another user. In the case of what we're developing, creatively, open sourced, completely open source, that shifts really fast, man. I can't even see it, so I don't even know. Admitting you can't see something on stream. A piece used for Android devices. A shell, essentially. Piece of data reused for Android devices. In this case, an application in the App Store with a set of basic functions. Not even. Just an application. Boom. This application can import algorithms or functions. That's its only function. Import it, export it, connect to peers. So import, connect to peers, fire it up, check peers what they have, or check the marketplace, the search function. I don't even have to, what the? I can import a piece of code in my Android device. That sounds super odd. That's essentially what I'm doing. It is possible. Connect, download peer logic, connect to peer. Bothersome. Where should we head? Never a question, always answered immediately. Modular hardware. Making information available to other apps. That's it. So I'm peer-to-peer logicking and writing data locally from that peer-to-peer logic. And then executing functions, for example, forwarding requests to other peers. Not even really, I'm just connecting to other peers. That's what it is. So I'm downloading the peer-to-peer logic. From there, I can also download other applications which would have access to the data transcribed by this peer-to-peer logic. So I could be importing someone's camera stream and viewing it with a view application, or a whole suit application, for example. Here would be many applications which would be compatible with this application. That means API. It was more intense before. All right, let's sit with a coffee and make it intense again. Generally, we have it. Generally, we've actually developed the logic behind it. So at extremely various levels, we've essentially done it. All right, who are we? So you ask as you've done. What do you guys think? Compatible peer-to-peer interface is the basis which is used by all applications which modern programmers aspire developing. They are very sparse because the bar is set extremely high for anyone who attempts this feat
to manifest it. Nearly impossible. It exists. Check out Pier 5. This would be a great time to actually end it, relatively. Or we could do something else. I mean, I'm always recording, so it's not like this will never, ever, you'll miss your chance, you know. I always record it, so it might not be accessible immediately. I could do another sort of broadcast, because I'm tired right now of just carrying it around. It is super productive. So what have we done? What have we actually done? Where did we start? Let's check it out. We started at an application which would allow us the capture of streams, formatting to output at various locations. We developed a logic which would allow an application to capture your camera stream, your microphone stream, and create segments from it without breaking the stream, which means you would create various viewable packets that you can then send to your other alternative platforms. Send, save, and serve. No, I don't look as pretty. It's really data. Myself. Then after that, we were talking about creating those interactions or those segments or those flags or those events vocally or with another commanding interface. So then we thought about developing our own, or we thought about a mirror, which when you would open it, it would reflect you with a server which would be able to send you the logic or operate it remotely. So you would be able to specify a location on the internet to apply a command against and return a certain value. Then there was a little mention about developing it or programming it. How do we get all the way to pure development though? A node, connections with other people, viewing their own segments, sharing it, Facebook, viewing the screen as an input, thanks to chat, wonderful technology. Kill.
The logic behind applying segmentation vocally, and not just vocally, but extra sensorially, I guess, commanding it with other senses or other interfaces. Sharing with a peer the location of the data instead of downloading it and re-uploading it. I'm creating a segment off a YouTube video, then that piece is floating on the internet. So I can relay it to the person who issued the command, and then they can relay it to someone else in a peer-to-peer network. Then peer-to-peer network, nodes connecting with each other, developing the algorithmic logic. There's an actual algorithm. It's called Schrodinger's equation. That's what we use. So you can Google it. I can go over it lightly. I'm pretty sure it's Schrodinger's equation. It might not be. It could be someone else's. It's you take the total length of the set, divide it or find a square root. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure what it is. You create equal segments. Create equal segments. Then you fire at random within those segments. So you keep running it recursively. So you create segments within segments. And then you randomly create segments within randomly created segments within randomly created segments. And that eventually becomes your smallest scale. There it is. Hearing it say. I'll show you guys one thing before leaving, really quickly, a quick sneak peek. This is not stuff that I will necessarily post right away. This is it. 1 month of survival is contained within here, including food, all nutrition, all clothes, all digital, all medication, all paper, everything contained within this one bag. This is how much it weighs. Hold up. This is what we need to do currently. Two seconds. Five point what? £6. $5.8. That's what it says here. It's a little bit more than that. Wait. Nah. It's probably 7 pounds max. 10 pounds maybe, who knows? Within one bag. So we're going to be doing this at a higher rate because I won't be holding this like a retard. Hopefully, without ginseng. Here it is, man. That's how I spent my year. Started off with a month, and then we're going to go replenish and take it from there. So, I can chill a little bit more with you guys, 5 more minutes, no problem. Let's, while we're done, check it out. Attempt our own abstractions, share them later. I do this permanently, by the way. Just a little bit slows me down, except not really, because my job is not necessarily to develop it actively always. It would be here to communicate it also. Therefore, in a very user-friendly format, in a consumable way, that's what this would be. Except I shift back into a mode of pure meditative, abstractive behavior to do the tune-in stuff. I sound like a retard when I talk about being higher. Clip that! Holy shit. Alright, look. Bop. Clip last 15 seconds from beginning of bop. Bop. Name newest clip. Great definition. Bop. Bop. Send newest clip to all media outlets. Bop. Bop. Add platform, Voku, to media outlets. Bop. Bop. Run 2 bops. No. Bop. Undo last bop. Bop. Run 3rd last statement after 2nd last statement. Bop. Bop. Undo last 4 bops. And then you have a nice little virtual simulation of what actually helped. Well, dark matter, overconductance, teleportation, faster than light, electron, transmission through dark matter, shifting energy levels in a way that programmatically shifts the intrinsic nature of the universe, yielding dark matter hotspots. Dips in possibility, where matter is dark. So I'm creating a hole, then I'm creating a theoretical trajectory. In a specific direction, I'm just blasting theory. I'm theoretically blasting an atom. And then this hole is created. So I have enough energy to create an atom from nothing, which shapes the dark matter in a certain way. Now the trajectory sent theoretically is where the dark matter would respond. Dark matter. This is an overview, dog. This is when I'm not worried about what the fuck I'm looking like when I hold the camera. That's what it's gonna be. That's what it is. So, now looking at it, exactly. Selfie stick, boom, upgrade. Just like that. Boom, boom. With the back camera, dude, nothing can stop me, dog. I'm a one-man fucking army, dog. It's a lot of detail that I have saved in an audio file, which you can hear or not. It works consciously. Assessing that is important because people believe in bullshit. And I am not about bullshit. Therefore, when I do something, I mean it. When I mean something, I do it. Talk about going in 2 dimensions past. Multiple times. Multiple times. Just let me actually outline that. Multiple times. Multiple times. Multiple times. Multiple times. Multiple times. You could exactly what's happening currently. That's what I mean. That's insane. All right, for the people who didn't catch that, we have 7 seconds. All right, cool. The recording of myself in the past is what someone else is being now.